Have you ever had that feeling, where you're just incredibly busy, running around, but not really feeling fulfilled by it?
Oh, definitely. Like you're on a hamster wheel.
Exactly. Like you're running full speed, but I don't know, the finish line doesn't feel right, or maybe you don't even care about that finish line anymore.
Hmm.
Well, today, that's what we're doing. A deep dive into setting goals that actually truly matter to you. Goals that resonate deep down. And look, this isn't just about ticking more boxes or achieving more stuff. It's about finding real purpose, real satisfaction in the actual process.
Right.
So our mission is to kind of unpack the research, the strategies to help you go from these vague ideas to purposeful action that feels, well, good,
Mm.
that pulls you forward.
And the sources we're looking at, a whole stack of guides, research, they're really consistent on this point. Clear, well-structured goals, they lead to higher motivation, better performance, and yeah, a much deeper sense of, wow, I did that and it mattered. So we'll explore how to make goals light your fire, but critically, without becoming super stressful.
Right, not just another thing on the to-do list.
Exactly. More like a journey you actually want to be on.
Like that.
The foundation. Why meaningful?
Okay, let's get right into it then. Why meaningful? Why is that word so critical? I mean, isn't achieving any goal a good thing? What's the real difference?
That's such a key question. And it really boils down to the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation.
Okay, intrinsic, extrinsic. Explain that a bit.
So extrinsic is when you're doing something because of external pressure, like my doctor told me to lose weight or my boss expects this project.
Right, the shoulds.
Exactly, the shoulds. And what often happens is even if you achieve it, it feels kind of flat, anticlimactic, or the whole process just feels like a grind, super stressful.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
You tick the box and just feel relieved it's over, not happy.
Precisely. Now, contrast that with intrinsic motivation. That's where self-concordant goals or want-to goals come in.
Want to goals. I like that.
Yeah, these are things you genuinely desire. No external pressure, no shoulds. It comes from within. And pursuing these goals builds feelings of competence. You feel like you're in control. You feel connected to what you're doing.
Okay, so it feels authentic.
Totally authentic. And that intrinsic drive is the secret sauce for sticking with it, for staying engaged long term, especially when things get tough.
That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
So for us, for the listener, what's the practical step here? How do we apply this?
It starts with what you call the why test.
Right.
For any goal you're considering, you have to keep asking maybe even 5 times, like the 5 whys technique. Why does this really matter to me?
Digging past the surface answer.
Exactly, because you need to connect it to something deeper.
And that deeper thing is values.
Your core values, yeah. The fundamental principles that guide you, what's genuinely important to you. And here's the tricky part. Those values aren't static.
They can change over time.
They absolutely can. Life changes, you learn, you grow. So you need to check in periodically. Ask yourself, does this goal still align with who I am now, with what I value today? It's like recalibrating your inner compass.
Okay, so it's an ongoing process, not a one-time check.
Yeah.
How do we actually unearth those values if we're maybe not super clear on them? What questions help?
It does take some real reflection. You could ask yourself things like, what truly makes life meaningful for me? Not for society, not for my parents, but for me.
Okay.
Or what do I stand for, even when it's hard or unpopular? Maybe even what kind of impact do I want to have? Questions like that start to reveal those foundational principles.
That's powerful stuff. It feels like the bedrock before you even build the goal itself.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yes. Unearthing your true north.
Self-discovery.
Okay, so before we nail down specifics, we got to look inward. This is self-reflection piece. It sounds essential, but maybe a bit uncomfortable too. It can be, yeah. Like, looking honestly at yourself isn't always easy. But it's about aligning what you do with who you are and learning to sit with any discomfort that comes up.
Right. So what kind of questions guide this inward look?
You could ask,
Yeah.
what really excites me, what gives me energy, not just what you think you should be doing.
Okay.
Think about peak experiences. When have I felt most alive, most fulfilled, maybe in my job or just in life?
Looking for those moments of flow.
Exactly. And curiosity is huge here. Don't be afraid to explore, try something new, join a group, volunteer. You might stumble onto passions you never knew you had.
That leads perfectly into this next idea I found really interesting. Brainstorming across different life domains. Why is that important? Why not just focus, say, on career?
Because that hyperfocus often leads to imbalance, right? You might climb the career ladder, but your health suffers or your relationships drift.
Yeah, tunnel vision.
Totally. The sources often list domains like health, career, relationships, finances, personal growth, fun, spirituality, even environment or community.
Right, in a more holistic view.
And the key thing is they're all interconnected. Improve your health, you often get more energy for work, strengthen relationships, maybe your stress levels drop, which helps your finances. It's a web.
Okay, I see the value, but how do we actually do that? How do we visualize it? Let's talk tools. What about mind mapping?
Oh, mind mapping is fantastic for this. You start with a central idea, maybe my ideal 2025. Then you branch out to those life domains, health, career, etc.
All right.
Then from each domain, you branch out further with specific ideas, aspirations, maybe why they matter. It's visual, nonlinear. It really helps connect dots you might otherwise miss, gets both sides of the brain working.
Cool. And similarly, but maybe more visual aesthetic, is vision boarding.
Yes. Vision boards are great. You gather images, words, quotes that represent your goals and aspirations across those different domains.
Like a collage of your future.
Exactly. You put it somewhere, you'll see it often. It acts as this constant visual reminder, making those abstract goals feel more real, more tangible. It helps keep them top of mind.
Okay, mind maps, vision boards. Great for brainstorming and visualizing. Now, you mentioned a tool that gives a real snapshot of where things are now, the Wheel of Life.
Ah, yes, the Wheel of Life. It's a brilliant tool for getting that holistic snapshot of your current well-being.
How does it work exactly?
You take maybe 8 to 10 life categories, the ones we mentioned, health, career, finances, relationships, fun, etc., and you rate your current satisfaction in each area on a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay, 1 being low, 10 being high satisfaction.
Right. Then you plot these points on a circular chart, like spokes on a wheel, and connect them.
If it's not round?
If it's bumpy, and it usually is, that immediately shows you where the imbalances are, where you're feeling really good and where things feel, well, lacking.
Wow, okay, that visual is powerful.
It really is. And then the crucial part is reflection. You ask, okay, this area is a 4, what would a 10 actually look like for me? Or, perhaps more importantly, what's one small thing I could do to move this from a 4 to a 5?
Ah, so it bridges that gap between self-awareness and identifying actionable steps.
Precisely. It helps you pinpoint where to focus your goal-setting energy for the biggest impact on your overall balance and fulfillment. 3, sculpting your vision, defining and prioritizing.
All right, so we've done the inner work, we've used tools like the Wheel of Life, we have a sense of direction. Now it's time to get concrete, right? To sculpt those aspirations into actual goals. And that usually brings us to SMART goals.
Ah, yes, SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Most people have heard of it.
Yeah, it's everywhere. But where do people typically go wrong with it? Or how can we use it more effectively?
Well, a common trap is just treating it like a checklist. Fill in the boxes, done.
Yeah.
But it's more dynamic. Let's quickly touch on them with a bit more nuance.
Okay.
Specific. Clarity is key, yes. But really visualize it. Not just get healthier, but run the downtown 5K on October 15th. See yourself doing it.
Got it. Vivid.
Measurable. How will you track progress? Don't just think end result. What are the interim milestones? If you can't measure it, how do you know you're moving? How do you celebrate small wins?
Right. Need those markers.
Achievable. This is subtle. It means realistic for you, with your resources, but still a stretch. Not impossible, not boring. That Goldilocks zone.
Okay. Challenging but doable.
Relevant. This is huge EE and often missed. Is it relevant to your deep why, your core values? Or is it just something society says is good? A SMART goal that isn't personally relevant, that's going to feel like a chore.
Ah, so it links back to that foundation we talked about.
Absolutely. And time-bound. A deadline creates urgency, yes, but make it a deadline that feels both realistic and meaningful, not just arbitrary.
Okay, so thinking about SMART not just as creation, but diagnosis too. If a goal feels stalled, maybe check which letter it's failing on.
Exactly. Is it not achievable because you lack a skill? Okay, maybe the first step is learning that skill. Is it not relevant anymore? Maybe it's time to let that goal go or reshape it. It's a great diagnostic.
That's really useful. But you're saying we can go beyond just SMART.
Definitely. Meaningful goals often have challenge and commitment baked in. The challenge pushes you, that 7 out of 10 difficulty idea. Enough to inspire, not enough to paralyze. Right. Commitment, that deep sense of, I'm doing this for me, not for external validation. That intrinsic pull again.
Gotcha. And you mentioned other frameworks, hard goals.
Yeah. Hard goals. Heartfelt, you gotta feel it. Animated, visualize it clearly. Required, is it necessary for a bigger picture? And Difficult needs real effort. It emphasizes that emotional connection and stretch.
Okay. Heartfelt, animated, required, difficult. And Simon Sinek's golden circle.
Right. Sinek always says start with why. Understand your core purpose, your belief, the why, before you figure out the how, your process, and the what, the specific outcome. It ensures the goal is anchored in meaning from the start.
Okay, so we have potentially several well-defined, meaningful goals now.
Yeah.
Smart, maybe hard, rooted in why. But
Correct.
now, maybe we have too many.
Yeah.
How do we prioritize? How do we avoid spreading ourselves too thin?
Prioritization is crucial. It's basically strategic resource allocation, your time, your energy. The Eisenhower matrix is brilliant for this.
The urgent important matrix.
Exactly. 4 boxes. Urgent and important. These are crises, deadlines. You do these first.
Okay, fires that need putting out.
Right. Then, important but not urgent. This is key. Strategic stuff, long-term growth, relationship building, skill development. You schedule time for these. This is where most truly meaningful goals live, and sadly, what often gets pushed aside by the urgent stuff.
The planning, the prevention.
Precisely. Then you have urgent but not important. These are interruptions, some emails, tasks that feel pressing but don't align with your core goals. Try to delegate or automate these if possible.
Right, minimize the time suck.
And finally, neither urgent nor important. Distractions, time wasters. You got to learn to eliminate these. The matrix forces you to be honest about where your energy is going.
That's incredibly helpful for focus. Okay, one last clarification here. Goals versus objectives. People use them interchangeably. What's the difference?
Good question. Think of a goal as the big, broad, long-term destination, like improve overall fitness or increase brand loyalty. It's aspirational.
The vision.
Right. An objective is a specific, measurable, shorter-term step towards that goal. Objectives are the milestones, the concrete actions. So for the goal improve fitness, objectives might be run 3 times a week for 30 minutes or complete a 5K race by June.
Okay, so objectives are the stepping stones to the goal.
Exactly. You usually need several objectives to achieve one goal. They provide the map, the turn-by-turn directions for charting your course, action blueprint.
Okay, the goal's sculpted, it's prioritized. Now we need the map, the actual plan.
Yeah.
But big goals,
Yeah.
they can feel so overwhelming. Like, where do you even start? That paralysis is real.
Totally real. And the key strategy here is decomposition, breaking it down.
Like eating an elephant.
Exactly like the elephant method. You take that huge daunting goal and you systematically break it into smaller, manageable, bite-sized pieces. Instantly makes it feel less terrifying.
Okay, so chunking it down, what are the benefits psychologically?
Oh, huge benefits. First, it reduces stress. Smaller tasks feel less threatening. Second, you actually see progress as you tick off those smaller steps. That builds momentum.
All right, those little wins.
Little wins are crucial. They build confidence, keep you motivated. It also helps cultivate a growth mindset because you're constantly achieving and learning. And frankly, it just massively increases the odds you'll actually finish.
So decomposition is key. And this relates back to what you said about outcome versus process goals.
Yes. Your big outcome goal might be write a novel, but the decomposition leads to process goals like write 500 words every weekday or outline 1 chapter per week.
Focusing on the actions, not just the end result.
Right. It's the consistency in the process goals that gets you to the outcome. You got to define those crucial daily or weekly actions.
Makes sense. Then timeline. How important is setting a realistic timeline with milestones?
Absolutely paramount. A timeline creates that necessary urgency. Without it, someday often becomes never. We all are. And milestones, intermediate targets, maybe monthly or quarterly check-ins, they break up the journey. They give you something concrete to aim for along the way and chances to celebrate progress. Critically, you need to actually block out time in your schedule for this work. Treat it like a non-negotiable appointment.
Okay, schedule it in. Now, what about roadblocks? Obstacles, they're gonna happen, right?
They are 100% guaranteed to happen. Life throws curveballs. The key isn't avoiding them, it's anticipating them.
Proactive planning for problems, how does that work?
Before you even start, ask yourself, what could realistically get in my way? Maybe it's lack of time, a lack of a skill, maybe temptations like procrastination.
Okay, identify the likely suspects.
Then brainstorm solutions in advance. If X happens, I will do Y. If you know you get tired after work, maybe schedule your goal work for the morning. If you need a skill, plan how you'll acquire it. This foresight turns potential crises into manageable challenges.
So you're less likely to get derailed when something inevitably goes wrong.
Exactly. And when setbacks do occur, Try to adopt a problem-solving mindset. Don't see it as failure. See it as data. Okay, that approach didn't work. What did I learn? How can I adapt? V, sustaining momentum, execution and motivation.
Okay, deep breath. We've done the introspection, the planning, the breaking down, anticipating obstacles. Now the long haul. Execution, tracking, and keeping that motivation alive when, life gets boring or hard.
This is where the rubber meets the road, for sure. Translating all that planning into actual action. One simple tip: write your goals down, but write them positively, assertively. I will complete this course, not I'd like to.
Okay, strong language solidifies intent.
It does. And then integrate those actions into your daily routine. Literally schedule them. Make them habits, like brushing your teeth. Reduces decision fatigue.
Right, make it automatic. How do we track progress effectively? Because seeing progress is so motivating, like we said.
Consistency is everything with tracking. Schedule regular check-ins. Maybe daily for small tasks, weekly for progress on objectives, monthly or quarterly for the bigger picture.
Okay, regular reviews.
Use specific metrics, actual numbers if possible. Key performance indicators or KPIs. Makes it objective. And tools can help. Structured journals are great for reflection.
Right.
Or digital apps, Trello for tasks, Habitica for gamifying habits, Streaks for tracking consistency. Find what works for you.
And the point of tracking isn't just to see if you did it, but to adjust, right?
Exactly. It's data-driven self-correction. If the tracking shows something isn't working, you don't just keep banging your head against the wall. You pivot. You adjust your strategy. You stay agile.
Okay, tracking helps us adapt. But what about when motivation just tanks? We all hit those walls.
Yeah.
What's the best defense then?
That's where your support system becomes invaluable. Seriously, don't underestimate this.
Like an accountability partner.
An accountability partner can be amazing. Someone you check in with regularly who holds you responsible, offers a different perspective, maybe just listens. Key is finding someone dependable, non-judgmental, and genuinely invested in your success.
Okay, even just telling people.
Even just sharing your goal with friends or family can add a layer of positive pressure and support. Knowing others are aware can be surprisingly motivating.
Right, so leverage relationships. What about motivation from within? How do we stoke that fire ourselves?
It's a mix. External rewards can help, but carefully. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge milestones. Reward yourself, but be mindful. Don't reward weight loss with a giant cake.
Okay,
Right?
self-sabotage.
Exactly. Find healthy, aligned rewards. But the most powerful, sustainable fuel, it's intrinsic drive.
Back to the why.
Always back to the why. Regularly reconnect with why this goal matters to you. Remind yourself how it connects to your core values, your passions, and visualize success vividly. Don't just think about it, feel it. Engage all your senses in imagining achieving that goal. That mental rehearsal is incredibly powerful.
Embracing growth. Adapting and evolving.
Okay, final phase. Recognizing that this whole thing isn't linear. Life throws curveballs. Things change. So we need to talk about adapting, evolving, being flexible. Absolutely critical. Flexibility isn't weakness, it's strength. It's the ability to adjust your plans, maybe even modify the goal itself when circumstances change, without losing the core purpose.
Okay, so not being rigidly attached to the original plan.
Right. Think of it like sailing. You have a destination, but you have to adjust your sails based on the wind. This adaptability actually renews motivation, builds resilience, and lowers stress because you're not fighting reality.
So having a plan B mentality. If route A is blocked, calmly switch to route B.
Exactly. Embrace change not as a disaster, but as data, as an opportunity perhaps to find an even better path. This ties directly into having a growth mindset.
Believing your abilities aren't fixed.
Right. Seeing challenges not as proof you can't do it, but as opportunities to learn and get stronger. But shifting to that mindset when things feel like they're crumbling, that's tough.
Yeah, how do we handle actual setbacks? Because they will happen.
It starts with building resilience, that ability to bounce back. A huge part of this is reframing setbacks.
Not as failures.
Not as failures, but as valuable learning opportunities. Honestly ask, what can I learn from this? Practice self-compassion. It's okay to stumble. Setbacks give you incredibly rich data about what works, what doesn't, where your limits are. Use that data.
Turn adversity into fuel for improvement.
You got it. Which leads to the idea that goal setting isn't a set it and forget it thing.
Right, it's continuous, iterative.
Exactly. Regular review and adjustment are vital. Like we said, check in daily on tasks, weekly on short-term objectives, monthly or quarterly on the big goal.
And asking those key questions during review.
Yeah. Is this still the right goal for me? Does it still align with my values? Am I on track? Do I need more resources or maybe adjust the deadline? And crucially, conduct lessons learned sessions after completing a major milestone or even after a setback.
What does that involve?
Systematically thinking about what went well, what went wrong, what could I do differently next time? This builds your personal knowledge base, so you get smarter and more effective with each goal cycle. You stop reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
Outro.
Wow. We have really covered a lot of ground today, a true deep dive from getting clear on that deep why
Okay.
all the way through to executing, adapting, and learning.
It's a whole journey, isn't it? And the key takeaway, I think, is that this isn't just about ticking boxes. It's about building this ongoing cycle. Self-discovery, purposeful action, learning, growing.
Yeah,
Each goal isn't just an end point. It's a step towards living a life that feels more authentic, more fulfilling, more you.
absolutely. We touched on so many great tools, the wheel of life, smart diagnostics, hard goals, the elephant method for breaking things down, the Eisenhower matrix for focus, really practical stuff. So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Think about everything we've discussed. What's one area of your life right now that feels maybe a little out of sync?
Mm-hmm.
Not quite aligned with your core values.
Yeah, where's that friction?
Exactly. And then just consider, what one small step could you take, maybe this week, just to start bridging that gap, to reconnect even slightly with what truly matters to you?